Hello and thanks for joining me for some more landscape photography. In this video, I'm in Norway in the Lofoten Islands where I've joined in with a group workshop. It's day one of the workshop, and I think what I'll probably do is, if I have any interesting photography to share with you, I'll just make clips as we go on through the week. We're going to be here all week. To be honest, it's quite an unusual experience for me being a participant in a group workshop. I've never done it before. I must say I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. It's nice to have no responsibility at all. And frankly, what I'm doing is I'm taking advantage of some nice accommodation, some really good company, some transport to some great locations. So what more could you want? I'm kind of being left to my own devices, which is perfect. And I've already got an image lined up, which I've been taking some exposures for. So let me show you what I've been up to with that. So what I've been doing with this one, you can see I've got myself down low. We're here at Haukland beach this morning for sunrise. No light at all, but that's fine because there's plenty of atmosphere. And, you know, I'm not quite as fixated on the light as some photographers tend to be. I know it's important, but equally, if you don't get it, it's no reason to be disappointed. I've got myself down low because I want to minimize the amount of water between the beach foreground and the mountains in the background. I love the shape and texture of the mountains. I also quite like that there isn't a huge amount of snow on them. So it's essentially picking out all the little gullies and separating the ridges in the texture of the mountains. So that's working for me. And then a nice bit of wave action around some foreground rock, beautifully clean beach. And I've taken a whole series of frames as the waves are coming around the rocks in the foreground. And I'll just blend the best together to create a single final image. So here's a final image for you to take a look at, and what I've done is I've taken something like about a dozen or so frames, so I will have picked out 2 or 3 of the best, stitched the bits of texture together, and here's the image. So, day one, image one, quite happy with that, no trouble at all. I've no idea what the rest of the week holds for us, so I'll be back to join you as we go along from time to time. There's been a lot of talk about how little snow there is, which is very unusual for this time of year in this part of the world. Doesn't bother me at all, if I'm honest. I think the scenery is still really spectacular, whatever the light's doing, whatever the conditions are, and I'm going to do my best to have some fun with it. So the conditions have been quite challenging on day one. Throughout the bulk of the day, it's been really grey, quite rainy, and quite challenging, but I think I've managed to get 1 or 2 half-decent images. So I'll just put up a short gallery for you to take a look and see what you think. So we've ended the day at a place called Victon, possibly, who knows. I keep getting told where I am and I keep forgetting within 30 seconds. I sort of don't care because everywhere you look is just phenomenal. So we've been hanging around here on the coast, some quite big waves bowling in because we're right on the North Atlantic coast here. And I've been taking advantage of that. As I said to you earlier this morning, we had almost no snow. So this is more of a busman's holiday for me, but with more dramatic coastline and bigger seas, because we don't normally get this sort of thing on Anglesey unless there's a howling gale. So it's been nice to photograph it with just a gentle breeze. So I've been right down on the foreshore, very close to the breaking waves, taking my life in my hands, and shooting back towards this fabulous mountain here over my shoulder. We had some nice projected light on it very briefly, managed to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, as with earlier today, running about concentrating on the stills has meant that I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm sure you'll forgive me because you're going to understand that I'm prioritizing the photography here. But this foreshore with these fabulous rocks that drop straight into the sea, so the waves are breaking right against them, so you can really take advantage of it. So what I've got with this now, I've come up to a more elevated position, slightly clear of the waves, so I put my 75mm lens on, and I've been taking a series of frames of waves breaking around an outcrop. Got a nice headland in the background for some background interest, had a nice bit of colour at one point very briefly. But this is all about the waves breaking around this rock. So I've taken probably something like 30 frames, and I'll use 2 or 3 of them, I think. Big splash at the front, some water running off, and we'll blend those together and make a final image. The thing is, with a fabulous vista like this, it would be really easy to slap a wide-angle lens on and go, let's get it all in. But what I've done here is I've gone for completely the other end of the scale, because you lose the drama of it when you make it that wide angle. So I'm quite elevated and I've got all these really interesting rocks in front of me. But with my 75mm lens on, I can get into the bits that I'm interested in and cut out a lot of the distraction, and that's what I'm going for. I've been really making the most of it, I think. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. The sun's just gone down. We had a sliver of colour. I'll put a couple of images up at the end for you to take a look at. But this is a really short one. This is day one, finding my feet, just kind of getting into the swing of things. I'm going to be here for a whole week, which is really unusual for me. I haven't had a week's photography since I don't know when. Possibly the last time I was in Norway a couple of years ago. So I'll leave you with some images at the end and say thank you ever so much for tuning in to this really short video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, why not subscribe and join me next time? Cheers.